If you're just joining us, where have you been? We've spoken about the Turkish tactician that, gave up the hot seat to Benny McCarthy. We've also spoken about the Karaiko derby. Oh, it's going to be amazing. Now let's talk about the CHAN. Oh, SC Kadebe, what can you tell me about those amazing games we saw in the CHAN?
Look, Ade, CHAN has been interesting, and you look at the region we are looking at and what these guys have brought. The battle lines have been surely drawn up. I mean, Gambia, Gabon, South Africa, Egypt, Malawi, Comoros. I mean, look, the guys played out and they played their hearts out. And the focus is solely on these teams and the next rounds. I can break it down for you if you're ready with that, or
I'm ready. I'm ready. Let's hear it.
Are you sure you want to hear this?
Yes.
Look, on the 28th of Feb, we saw that Gabon and Gambia and Gabon played to a goalless draw.
Oh.
This fixture ideally it's not a fixture that ideally has goals in it, you know, Ade.
Okay.
I mean, you look at that, they hardly even score. The two teams played about 5 matches. There's only 2 wins, one of each. Both teams have won 2 games.
Okay.
They've drawn 1, 12 goals scored between the 2 teams. So ideally, the 2 teams don't score much, but I think Gabon scores a lot of goals when you look at the 2 teams. And playing a goalless draw, I don't think it's going to do much justice for them. But at the end of the day, we move on. And we look at also what Malawi and Comoros were up to.
Okay.
When you look at Malawi and what Comoros were up to, there's a guy that I want to mention in this conversation. Benwell Kinchi. He does something interesting in the last minutes of the game. But before I explain it, I need to explain in terms of what Comoros brought into this. Comoros lack probably what we call concentrations in terms of following the game. They don't follow the game. You look at the 2 goals they conceded. I mean, Benwell scored the goal in about 44th minute. He scores a goal. That tells you a team wasn't tuned up. That tells you the team wasn't ready to
on the stroke of halftime, but it happens in football. Hey,
it happens, but those are crucial moments to let a goal come in. You don't let a goal come in when you're about to go to halftime, where you're probably going to give the coach an opportunity to reset the team, you know. And they considered that. They let this team score in the 90th minute. How do you do that? 90th minute.
Yeah, definitely young defenders, lapses in concentration. Let's talk about the South African game. Now, what did you see with the South African young men?
Look, this is an interesting fixture because I think it's dear to South Africans, because when you look at the players in the team, I think a lot of players in this team are players that were not getting game time, were players that were probably iced out by their teams. Some were probably controversially left out of the teams. We wouldn't know exactly what's the matter. I reference Saleng when I talk about that, but the conversation is not on that. South Africa and Egypt gave us a good game. Egypt scoring first. They're one of the teams that I think people need to look out for. This team plays proper football. You know, when we talk about a team that starts from the back, builds up, they've got those diamonds.
And you know that their strategy against South Africa was to hit them on the counter, soak up the pressure and hit them on the counter. But I still want to talk more about the South African team, and if there are any players that you see should be promoted to the national side, the actual senior side.
You know, it's funny when you say that, because the conversation in South Africa, when you look at the team and you look at the experience underneath that team, you've got guys like Neo Mayema. These are experienced campaigners, you know, and these are players that are playing for big teams. They're not players that are just there adding numbers. You look at the guy that scored in this game, Jamie Weber. Jamie Weber has been in such controversy in so many situations at Sekhukhune, but I'm glad something is happening to Jamie. The conversation around Jamie will change because of what he has done for the team and where he's moving. He's moving to America, and it's great for him. And going back to the game itself, Ade, I mean, Egypt literally left South Africa for good in the first half. The first probably 40 minutes to 30 minutes, Egypt were rampant. They didn't want to see anything that South Africa was bringing on. Come the second half, Mlifinzeki decides to say, you know what, we'll change this team up. They change the team up, they come into the second half, boom, they score a goal, and the game ends in a 1-1 draw.
Oh, SC, interesting indeed. Now, we've spoken about those diamonds we saw on the shores of Africa.
Yeah.
It is that time of the show that I give you my African diamonds in England. The FA Cup was recently played and there were 3 Africans that made us all proud. Coming in at number 3 this week is Yankuba Minteh. As Ghanaian football slowly grows, a West African diamond in England brightly glows. Yankuba Minteh netted another crucial goal in Brighton's drama-filled 2-1 extra-time victory at Newcastle United. This is now 6 goals in all competitions for Minteh. The 20-year-old Gambian has made 10 goal contributions in 15 starts for the Seagulls so far this season. Coming in at number 2 this week is our Italian-born Niger boy, Calvin Bassey. The Fulham centre-back, they showed them Pepe at Old Trafford. He has only ever scored 3 goals for Fulham, and 2 of them have come away at Manchester United. He recently netted a header that was sweeter than Senegalese jollof from a corner kick in the FA Cup tie against the Red Devils. He then proceeded to show off his dance moves by the corner flank, Roger Miller style. Oh shit! At number 1 this week is the Black Stars' Antoine Semenyo. The Ghanaian international produced another outstanding display to help Bournemouth edge Wolves on penalties and secure a spot in the FA Cup quarter-finals. His pace, his strength, and relentless pressing unsettled Wolves throughout this match and made him a constant threat. The forward has now been named man of the match for the 2nd successive FA Cup. Ayeku Wenzekathle. So, hey, I just infiltrated some Ghanaian lingo into that, and a bit of my Zulu. It's a bit rusty, but it's getting better. You know, hey, here in Africa, as long as we speak the language of football fluently, huh?
Yeah, Wenzekathle, definitely.
but tell me, like, is there any African player that stood out to you that I left out on this list?
Not entirely, but because the guy that I looked at was Yankuba Minteh, and we spoke about him previously, and he continues to do something wonderful at Brighton. You know, why I mentioned this player. I will always focus on him and say, not always focus on him, but ideally when we look at the diamonds, you look at the position that he plays, Ade. This guy is a wing back. He continuously to score goals. He continuously to press and goes up front and does something wonderful for Brighton. I mean, if you've got a defensive player that's giving you an offensive play, what more would you ask for as a coach? So Yankuba Minteh, for me, I think he's doing wonders, and I think we're about to see a lot from this player.
Essie, thank you so much for joining us on the show this week. Let's hope that your prediction is right so we don't have to grill you on the show again next week. Stay tuned. We're going to be talking to Auntie D Ski next.